Okay, Mrs. Patel, so today I'm going to be creating these videos with you so you can review what we talk about. You'll be able to review how to safely get up and down from the toilet and review any of these educational pieces that I give you. That way it's easy for you to remember and you can review it in case you're forgetting. So first thing we're going to discuss today is how to modify getting up and down from the toilet. I know that we discussed that you previously had a fall from standing up from the toilet. You got a little bit dizzy and you fell. We want to prevent that from happening again, so I'm going to discuss some strategies with you and then I will show you the strategies too. So what we're going to do first is, assuming you just had that single point cane, we're going to use $10 from your budget to purchase a large base quad cane. That way it'll give you a little bit more support when walking and when stabilizing and bouncing just with standing. So that should really help. We are also going to employ some blood pumping strategies, which I'll show you in a little bit. That'll really help with getting your blood flowing, as we saw a little bit of a decrease in blood pressure when you go from sitting to standing, which could be causing some of that dizziness. We are also going to make sure that you're doing some proper breathing strategies when you stand to make sure your brain is getting properly oxygenated. So now we are going to get to standing. Okay, Mrs. Patel, now that you've made your walk to the bathroom and you sat on the toilet and you've gone to the bathroom, I'm going to help you get up. So the first thing we need to remember is to put our quad base cane on our left side. That way when we stand up, it's right there so we can hold on to help steady ourselves if we do feel dizzy. Now when we did that sit to stand test, we do know that you have adequate strength in your legs to be able to get up by yourself without using any help or using your arms. So remember that right arm is in that sling, so we definitely don't want to use that. But if you need to, you can use this left hand to push off, but we know you have strength enough, so you shouldn't need to. Now, once you've gone to the bathroom, we're going to employ some of those blood pumping strategies that we talked about before. So what that means is we are going to do some ankle pumps. So we're going to be moving our ankles up and down just like this. We can also be squeezing our hands like this too. This is just going to get that blood really pumping. We're going to do that for about 30 seconds. After we've done that, we're going to assume the position that we would when we were just normally standing up from the chair. So we're going to make sure our feet stay far tucked back as possible, maintaining our heels on the floor. And then we are going to do some rocking motions to help us get some momentum to stand. We are also going to incorporate a breathing strategy while we do this, which means we're going to breathe in while we're sitting here and we're going to breathe out with our mouth as we go to stand up. This will prevent any holding of the breath and make sure we are fully oxygenating our brain. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna rock forward, and on our third rock forward, we're gonna take a deep breath in, and then we're gonna exhale as we stand. So we'll go 1, 2, 3. And breathe out to stand and hold on to that quad base cane as soon as we stand. Now once we're standing, we're gonna employ some of those blood pumping strategies again. So we're gonna squeeze our hand, we can squeeze around that cane. We can squeeze our right arm too, as long as it's not hurting our fracture. So we're just gonna go like this for about 30 seconds. And once we've done that and we're not experiencing any dizziness, you can get up or you can continue walking with that cane and you can wash your hands. But if you do start feeling that dizziness, and after that 30 seconds of pumping, I want you to sit back down and do those blood pumping strategies again with your ankles and your hands for about 30 seconds, and then try the whole process again, remembering to breathe. All right, so that's the strategies that we should remember to use when standing from the toilet. And now we'll move on to some educational pieces. Okay, so some education we should remember from today's visit is that we discussed some orthostatic hypotension, which is just that dropping of your blood pressure when you kind of transition from different positions, like from laying to sitting and from sitting to standing. We discussed some blood pumping strategies to kind of get our blood pumping and decrease that change in blood pressure. So that will really help. And with that, we just need to remember that our changes and transitions need to be slow, and we need to incorporate some of those breathing strategies and blood pumping things. For example, when you're in bed at night and you need to go to the restroom, we're going to make sure that we do it nice and slow. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to roll, and while we roll, we're going to exhale during that harder part. So we'll be laying flat, taking a deep breath in, and then rolling and exhaling. And then we'll stay in that position if we feel any dizziness. And then after that, we will employ that breathing strategy again for sitting. So we'll take a deep breath in and then exhale as you push yourself into sitting. Once we get into that sitting position, we'll employ those blood pumping strategies. So we'll move our ankles up and down like I showed you. And the same thing with opening and closing our fists. We'll do that for about 30 seconds. We also need to remember to make sure that cane is with us by the bed. So once we get standing, again, employing those breathing strategies. Once we get standing, we can pump our fists again for 30 seconds before we start walking. So you just need to remember to be slow with those transitions and let your body adjust. We also, with that remaining $10, I want you to purchase some night lights that can be lined along your hallway because of that decreased visual acuity you have. So it's a little bit harder for you to see things. Having that bright light will really help you be able to see a little bit better and make it to the bathroom without falling. So that'll be really good for you, and you really need to remember once you get into the bathroom to turn that light switch on. I know it might be a little harsh on the eyes right away, but it's really important that you are able to see everything as good as possible when you are in there to avoid any sort of falling. Now we talked about some breathing strategies and blood pumping strategies to decrease some of that dizziness. Unfortunately, some of the medications you are going to cause dizziness as a side effect. That's something you can talk to your doctor about too. But we just need to remember that you're going to do slow transitions. And if you do feel dizzy, sit back down right away, okay? So if you get up from the toilet and you still feel dizzy and you feel too dizzy to employ those blood pumping strategies, sit back down and we can restart the whole process. Having that quad-based cane will really help support your body a little bit more if you're feeling sort of dizzy. And leaning on the walls are also helpful too. So just remember that with the dizziness. And the last thing I want to kind of educate you about is urinary incontinence is very common with older aging, but it isn't normal. So it is something that we can discuss, and we can get a pelvic floor therapist involved to help you with some bladder retraining and some strategies. This can help decrease the amount of times you need to get up at night to go to the bathroom, which will ultimately decrease any sort of fall risks. All right, so those are our educational pieces for today, and I showed you how to get up safely from the toilet, so you can rewatch that if you ever forget. And if you do have any questions, feel free to reach out to me whenever. All right, thanks for watching.